I'm holding in my hands the culmination of this vlog. There she is. There she is. Oh, she's so pretty. Am I really about to start this vlog looking this crusty? Anyways, I gotta start this vlog off before I forget to literally start it, and that is the starting line writing vlog. So yes, we are here, my third book. We're getting down into it. Today, it is Thursday, January 25th. So yes, I am still, like, Take My Hand hasn't even been released yet. 2 months out, actually, from Take My Hand's release. But I'm already starting on the outline of Starting Line because Take My Hand is off to my editor right now, and I can't not have anything to be working on. So I'm starting to work on Starting Line. A couple of weeks back, actually, no, it was, like, right back at the beginning of the year. So yeah, like a few weeks ago, I had a call with one of my friends, Katie, who has always kind of been, like, my creative sounding board. And we really, like, I just was telling her all of my thoughts. I felt like I had a lot of beads for this story, but I didn't have the string to string them together to make them like into a necklace, you know? I didn't have that like thread between a lot of the ideas. We sat down and we just like brainstormed. We just shot ideas back and forth, and I really kind of got most of this story ready. However, I don't really have it in like an outline form yet. That's what I'm starting to work on. I'm hoping to have my entire outline done by like February 1st, and then that way I can start writing February 1st. Start on this book, and I'm hoping to have my first draft done by the end of April, and then like May 1st, that's when I start editing, because then that would give me like all of May and all of June to edit it, and then July, at the end of July is my release date. July 29th is my release date for it. So it's gonna be weird like talking about details now finally, because I've been so like kind of like quiet on details about this, but it is a Summer Olympic book following TJ and Caleb. TJ is a gymnast going back for her second and last Olympics before she retires, and Caleb is a swimmer who is going back for his third Olympics, and he's kind of like undecided at the beginning of this book of whether or not he's going to retire from the sport or not. The main thing that I'm working on right now, I guess I'll kind of like fill in some more details as I go, but the main thing that I'm working on right now is background info and kind of like creating like an info sheet. I had one for Whisper Me Nothings because I needed it because I'm keeping track of 4 different books with 8 different main characters with a lot of side characters, and like I really needed that to keep track of things. But now with this as well, I definitely need these things to be keeping track of all these characters, because you know they both have coaches, they have teammates, they have, so the whole kind of like premise of this is that they are a part of a documentary leading up to the Summer Olympics that they are both a part of, because they are both very like well-watched athletes heading into the Summer Olympics, so they are a part of this documentary. And then also, like, you know, I got to build out their families. I mean, TJ is an only child, so I really just need to build out her parents. But then Caleb, like, Caleb's got a mom, his dad's passed, but like his dad's passing had like a pretty big impact on him, so I got to kind of build that out. And then he's got 2 sisters. I need to kind of have my facts straight with things like, what events does like Caleb compete at? Is there medal history? Like, you know, because they've both already been to Olympics. Oh, I got to figure out the documentary team. Because like obviously like the filmmaker of that one like is going to be a bit of a side character. I mean, not like super prominent, but obviously they're going to be around for a lot of like the documentary scenes when they're doing these interviews together, following Caleb or TJ to practice, whatever. I kind of got to get all of this stuff done, so I'm going to try to do that tonight, like try to get most of that squared away tonight. And then also tomorrow, hopefully like have most of the background info done. And then I can start putting, I already have like a good chunk of the timeline together, but I don't have it broken down by like chapters or anything like that. And I like to do that. So hopefully, so today's Thursday. So I'm hoping between today and tomorrow, I can get most of the background info done. Or although over the weekend, I'm not really going to be around over this weekend. So actually, I don't know. It might be a stretch to have this done by February 1st to get writing, but I need to kind of like be making pretty good progress on this book, because in March I have I'm moving and I have a bachelorette party that I will be gone for. And then in April, I'm gone on a family vacation. So I'm going to have like some chunks of time taken out of the months that I'm supposed to be writing this. I'll probably actually take my laptop with on my family vacation because we're just like chilling by the pool. With that said, I just have a lot coming up over the next months between moving and trips and things that I need to be kind of diligent with writing. But I'm so excited for this story. I'm really looking forward to it. I just only hope that I can do it justice to how like fun it is in my head. I just only hope that I can execute it well, because I do think it's going to be a really fun story. Like TJ really, her entire life has just been wrapped up in gymnastics. Like that's all she knows. And as she's staring down retirement, even though she's only 20 years old, she feels like her life is kind of over, because she's like, what do I have if I don't have gymnastics anymore? Caleb is very much like, he's got a bit of a bad reputation just for being like cocky and, you know, like being sarcastic in interviews. Like he's kind of the guy that everyone loves to hate but also loves to root for because he brings home gold. And the two of them like kind of butt heads a little bit while they're filming this documentary, because she's very much like America's sweetheart, got like a very good reputation, you know, like very good like role model kind of girl, and she just always kind of played by the rules, and Caleb just doesn't play by anyone's rules except for his own. Kind of then starts to show her like that there is a life to be had outside of sports. Like your entire life is not training and gymnastics and Olympics and competitions. Like you should have more to your life, and kind of showing her that. And that's kind of like how they start to bond a little bit, and I'm just really looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be so fun. I already set the release date because I wanted to come out coinciding with the actual Summer Olympics starting. Basically 6 months and 4 days from now is when this book needs to be done. So I'm feeling good about that. I'm really excited, and like always, I'm gonna bring you guys along with me as I write it. Okay, one thing I do just have to note right off the bat here. Here's the thing. Whisper Me Nothings, I didn't really have too much research in terms of like the instruments they play or like the music, because, or like even like the software that Scar uses to produce, because like I just have that background knowledge. Swimming, I know jack shit about swimming, and right now I'm just trying to figure out what races Caleb can compete in. And I'm like, do they compete in multiple events? Like, obviously I know they compete in multiple events, but I'm like, are there like certain groups? Like, are there things that it's like he might compete in this one, but he wouldn't compete in this one? Because I did found factually that during the women's team finals, which is when an event kind of like happens in the book, I need him to also be performing it, or to be competing at the same time. And I mean, it really doesn't matter in real life, but technically the men's 800-meter freestyle race would be taking place at the same time. So I'm like, oh, that would be kind of perfect. Like it factually lines up. But again, not that I like super care, but I just know there's gonna be someone out there who's like, factually that wouldn't actually happen. But so like that lines up. But then I'm like, does he only compete in 800-meter freestyle? Because then I'm looking at these other events. So then a lot of people, if they compete in 800, then they compete in 1500. But then I'm like, would he maybe do like the 400-meter freestyle? But then I'm looking up just like swimmers in general, just trying to see like, does anyone compete in like 400 and 800? And no, pretty much all of them compete in like 1, 2, or 400-meter, or they compete in like 18 and 1500 meters. So I'm like, is there no one that goes in between? I'm like, can Caleb just be the special one? But like, is that too much of a stretch? Is someone who like really knows swimming going to be like, actually that like would never happen, that someone would compete in 4 and 800 meter? So oh, that's my dinner. So I don't know. I feel like a dummy researching this. I will become a bit of an expert by the end, but right now I feel stupid. So I'm here with a queen, Miss Nala. This is my parents' dog. I am over here dog sitting. It is Friday, February 2nd, and I have not really worked on Starting Line at all for the past week. I was actually supposed to ideally start writing yesterday. That did not happen. Crescent City 3 came out, and I spent all of my time the past couple days reading that. And then even yesterday, like I had already finished it, but then I had other stuff going on that I didn't end up getting around to working on Starting Line. So I still don't have my outline done for Starting Line. I'm very close. I feel like I kind of need like one more solid day to sit down with it and work it out, and I think I'm going to be good to go with it. However, the one thing that I'm kind of missing is like their initial conflict that happens of why they don't like each other. In my head, they had some sort of run-in at their first Olympic, or at Tuesday's first Olympics and at Caleb's second Olympics, so like the previous 4 years ago. I just don't know what that is yet. I don't know what it is that like happened that she is like, this guy sucks, and that he's like, I don't even remember you, because like that's just kind of how he is. And I've kind of been stuck on that a little bit. So I've been feeling like I need to kind of like sit with that a little bit. And Really? Like, it's hard for me to just like like I can't sit in front of my computer and just sit there and be like, magic. And what was really helpful for me with Take My Hand was when I was doing the outline for that book, I was over here dog sitting as well. And I had so much time to just brainstorm on WALKs with her. I can't say that because I'm getting ready to leave and she's not coming with me. I do great brainstorming on WALKs, just listening to like my playlists. And I'm like, this is actually gonna be perfect. So tomorrow, hopefully between our two, I can get some brainstorming done and hopefully get like that piece to fall into place, because otherwise, like, I haven't built out the Olympics, but I already have like my rough idea in my head of how it kind of goes. I just need to like kind of beat by beat mark it out. And then like the end, I don't really know like how Tuesday's story kind of like ends at the end. Like I kind of know where Caleb's end goal is. I figured, I can kind of see what she wants to do by the end of the story. I guess I just wanted to include that here because in case if you're one of those people that is like, I'm like stuck, or like I don't really know how you get ideas, I genuinely get ideas when I'm just like not sitting down at my computer. I do most of my brainstorming when I'm out and about or laying in bed at night or out other places. I rarely ever get ideas when I'm just sitting down at my computer trying to be like, think, okay? Or listen to music. That genuinely is the most like inspiring thing. So, okay. This book has not gotten off to the start that I was hoping that it would get started off to. It's currently, what is today? Thursday, February 15th, and I don't even have the first 2 chapters done. I was hoping at this point that I would be a lot farther the way through because I was just trying to write every single day this month and I have severely slacked. I was really out of my routine. I was dog sitting for my parents, and I don't know, that entire time that I was over at their house staying there, I just was not in the mood to write and not in the routine to write. And every time I sat down, it just like wouldn't go. But now I'm back home. I'm back in my own routine. I'm getting back into it. So I'm trying not to beat myself up too much. Like I think I'm still gonna be fine deadline wise, because here's the thing, I'm really good with a deadline. So basically what I wanted to come on here and update is that one thing that I have had to do completely different with this book that I have not had to do with Whisper Me Nothings at all. And we'll see, I might honestly use this moving forward because I do think this is going to keep me on track. One thing that I do struggle with is timelines. I tend to kind of just forget about such thing as like timelines as I'm writing, and then I'm saying like months or dates, and then I'm like, does that actually line up? And then that causes me a lot of pain in editing and trying to figure out the timelines. So for this book though, I need to be like a lot more strict with my timeline because I have very specific dates in this book, right? And like these characters have very specific events. Mostly TJ does. I feel like Caleb doesn't really have as many like things leading up to the Olympics as she does. And just that I'm not like choosing to focus on. And like I'm not going in depth with all these, but for TJ, she needs the Winter Cup, she needs the national team camp, the US Classic, the US Championships, and then they both have the trials. So they have a lot of events leading up. So even while I'm not going into detail, really besides the trials, I'm going to do a little bit more of like actual sports kind of detail with those. I still need to be mentioning that TJ is like going to these things and has these things going on. So I actually built out, so on Canva, I keep track of my own writing on a little Canva calendar. Within my Canva, I have now created an Olympic calendar alongside. So starting in February, I have like all of that, all of the events laid out here. So that's going to be helpful. One thing that I'm kind of struggling with balancing of having like enough realism that if someone who knows these sports inside and out looks at that and be like, oh, she actually knows what she's talking about, she did her research, but at the same time, I'm not here to write like a textbook on like what it takes to get to the Olympics. Like I still have a story to tell. I have things to move along that don't include just like, this is exactly what happens when they go to this thing, and this is exactly what happens when they go to that thing. So I think I'm kind of struggling with that right now. One of the things that popped into my mind yesterday, I was just sitting at work and all of a sudden I was like, what if I had like podcast transcripts throughout the script or throughout the book, just like sprinkled in, because so much of Caleb and TJ's story too, especially I think more so with Caleb, is public perception around him and how he has this kind of image, and how TJ also has this image that, she's like this good girl, she's the golden girl, whatever. And I'm like, what if I can kind of use like podcast transcripts or like news articles or whatever to kind of like build that into the story? I kind of like that. So I did all that. That's good prep work. And now I really have no choice but to just start writing. I have been procrastinating. I am doing a writing Q&A video. Now by the time that this vlog is gone up, this video is going to be like, or that video will be months old at this point. But I did get a question of like, how not to get distracted while writing. And I'm like, I'll let you know when I don't get distracted while writing. Like, I am always distracted, Dorian. Always finding other things to do that's not writing. Like making my little Canva calendar. Like adding more to my outline. Like, I would much rather do that than right now sit down and write this book, even though that's what I'm here to do. Whoever says the cats are low maintenance pets, like, I don't know what you mean. I did not get low maintenance pets, which not that I would have it any other way, but I'm sitting on the floor with them playing while Arya's on the TV stand watching, and Dorian, as you can see, is back here. But then every time I try to stop and go and do something, then they follow me, meow at me, and like beg for attention, which they're not attention starved, okay? Y'all know how much I love them and I talk to them all day long. Anyways, well then I figured, I'm like, well, I might as well give a starting line update. So what is today? It's the February 21st. I'm not doing great on starting line, to be completely honest. I feel like I should be way further along than I am. I feel like the month got started off to a rough start with writing. And then just as I was kind of hitting a groove with writing, then I got my edits back for Take My Hand. That took over my entire life for a few days. And then I just sent them back for our last round, which is proofreading. So at least like that should be easy. Like that should be like an easy round. That shouldn't require much brain power. It's just time consuming. Like, I've been spending most of my time Take My Hand because obviously that takes priority. That is releasing now in just over a month. But I also need to be writing starting line, and I think am I only on chapter 4? I think I'm like 8,000 words in though. Plus side in all of this that I have is that every single time I do sit down to write, it's flowing. It's very, like, it's just working. It's just easy. So like that's good, but it's more just finding the time to sit down, and like I just haven't had a lot of time to do that. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about my April 30. How many days does April have? April has 30 days. So about my April 30th deadline at this point. Out of all the books, this is the book that has the deadline. Like, I can't bump it. It's got to release with the Summer Olympics. You could help Mom by like not trying to distract me every night when I try to write. I'm just stressed. And I just saw Katie Robert post an Instagram talking about all the stuff that she has going on and just like how much authors have to juggle. And she's on like a scale that's like a million times more than me. And I'm just looking at that and being like, is this how it's always going to be? Now, that's a bad thing because, like, I love doing this and it makes me happy. So, like, even if I'm stressed out, like, I still love doing it. Like, I love this story and I love doing the edits on Take My Hand because I love that story and I love these characters. It's just, like, there's just so much more on top of just writing the stories that I just don't want to have to deal with. Like, thinking about, like, arcs. Like, I got to figure out that for Take My Hand. I'm making marketing teasers that I don't want to have to make, but I have to do. Then someone was like, what about a Facebook group? Dear God, how the fuck do I even do that? There's just a lot of things, and I'm just kind of stressed out about it right now, and I just need to take it one thing at a time, you know? It's Thursday, February 22nd, and I am making an update here because I just submitted a form to my editor to lock in for starting line for editing again, because this morning when I woke up, I saw that she had posted that she is already booked now through May, which I like was not really paying attention or not really like thinking about like, oh, should I probably need to like let her know? Because we've just been going back and forth about Take My Hand so much that I haven't really been thinking like, oh, I need to already be thinking about getting locked in for starting line. So this is kind of a note to anyone who is wanting to write a book at all and thinking about editing. You do got to get locked in early. Now, granted, with Take You Down, with just doing proofreading on that, it was a little easier to find someone a little bit more last minute. But if you're wanting to do any sort of like extensive editing, like editors do book out for the most part pretty far, like months in advance. So definitely just think about that. Like, it's literally February and I had to book for June. I chose June 2nd because that's a Sunday. So that gives me like all day Saturday and kind of like Sunday still in case if I need it to get done. I don't think I will. I still want to have my draft done by May 1st, or like my first draft done, and then that gives me a month basically to self-edit. My word count right now 9,841, and I'm on chapter 5. Anyways, yeah, now I'm like, do I need to start thinking about the cover already? I really don't know what I want for the cover of this book. I don't think I'm going to do a person cover. I just don't really know what I want for a cover. I just kind of know that I want some sort of like water texture. You know how like just that like teal water look. I just know I kind of want that just because of Caleb being a swimmer, but I don't really know. Okay, I have no idea when the last time was that I made a check-in for Starting Line because, to be honest, it has been slow going. Today is March 6th, and I think I'm only at like 19,000 words. I just have been very unmotivated this month in terms of like writing. And I think just too, I'm just kind of stressed out right now because obviously Take My Hand, by the time this video is up, Take My Hand is going to have been out for months. So I'm trying to juggle doing the arcs for that, I finally got it back from my proofreader, so I had to proof it, format it, upload it, waiting on my final sized full wrap from my cover. Anyways, it's just like there's been a lot with that going on. And then trying to stay on task with Starting Line. Like in the evenings, I felt so uninspired, and that's really frustrating to me because even the scene that I'm writing right now, which I mean, I'm sure the chapter will change by the time that the final book is done, but what chapter am I in? It's like a scene that chapter 10. It's basically where TJ, this is not like going to be a spoiler or anything. I'm never going to spoil books in these vlogs, but it's basically where TJ is grabbing a package from her mailroom and her back completely like locks up and she almost falls forward, and then Caleb comes and like scoops her up, takes her up to her apartment and takes care of her. And this is kind of the first time that TJ sees like maybe my perception of Caleb has been skewed. And I've been so excited to write this scene between them because it's the first time that they're really like having like a heart-to-heart kind of conversation. It's just frustrating because it's been a scene that I've in the outline and like I saw it in my head so clearly and I still see it in my head so clearly, but then every time I sit down it feels so like it's like I'm pulling teeth. I don't know. And I shouldn't even be having like doubts. Like Take My Hand isn't even out yet, but I think I'm just, and I saw a really great review today too of Take You Down. Made like a really nice collage of Take You Down and like a really great review, but yet it's almost like every single time that I read it, it still doesn't feel like, I don't know why it doesn't like sink in and like, I don't know. I'm just in like a weird kind of funk right now with writing. And I think I'm just like exhausted. I think it's finally kind of caught up to me. Working my regular job during the week and then working this in the evenings, working this on the weekends. And I know I shouldn't be complaining because there's so many people who like have so many responsibilities. It's just right now I'm just kind of overwhelmed. I just needed to make this check-in quick here because this is why, and like this is why I do these vlogs, because you do need to see the high and the low for like people who want to do this for themselves, that it's like there are so many high points and so many low points. And last night I was at a low point. Like I was just so motivated with the story, what have you. Like, I mean, you saw that all in that check-in last night if I even kept it in, because honestly it was a lot of rambling and stuff. But then today I woke up and I was productive this morning and I like did some chores and everything. And then I sat down and I finished the chapter that I was writing, and I finished the same scene kind of took place over 2 chapters. And I finished that next one. I finished that entire scene and I'm so happy with it. It's very, very dialogue heavy, but like I'm trying to make sure that I am doing more conversations between Caleb and TJ, because I do find that I rely a lot, I think a little bit too much on like internal thought and not as enough of them like going back and forth and kind of learning things about each other that way. Just like they both have these assumptions of each other and just kind of seeing how the lens that they have of each other shapes their interactions. It's just fun, and I was finally feeling like good about it. And you know, that's why you got to push through, because you will hit a better spot with it, and that's why you always have to go back to it. I don't know how many times like I stopped writing with Take You Down. Like I stopped writing that book so many times, and the most important thing was like that I just kept going back to it. It just takes a lot. There are a lot of low points, but they do end up being worth it in the end. Okay, sorry if you can hear the dryer in the background, trying to get some laundry done so I can get packed tonight, because I'm going on a bachelorette party trip in just a couple of days here. So it is Tuesday, March 12th, I think. So I'm actually getting ready to go to dinner here in a few minutes with some friends. I've been making slower progress on starting line, I think, as some of my check-ins have probably seemed like it. I just kind of like had to check in with myself a little bit today because I've been so stressed about being on time and even like feeling guilty about taking time away from working, to go on this bachelorette party. And I just kind of had to be like, I love working. Like, I say I love working. I don't love like actually working. I love working on books, okay? And I love writing and I love being creative and I love doing this, but also like because it isn't regulated by anyone except for me, like I do need to kind of remind myself that like I can't just put my head down and work. Like I can't just work my normal job during the day and then as soon as I turn off my computer from that I turn on my other computer and start working for this. Like I do need to have more of a balance. I'm almost finding myself being like TJ in this book right now, of like missing out or like feeling, you know, like removed from other people when it's like I'm kind of doing this nonstop. I love it and I'm very excited about everything that I have going on. It's also like I just need to give myself that grace and like remind myself that it's like you can go on a trip and not feel guilty. And I'm always the first person who's telling my friends of being like, fuck your job, like who cares, like they don't care about you, they'd replace you tomorrow. And like I still feel that way about like other jobs, but this specifically I have a hard time doing that with because it's mine and it's something that like I love genuinely. But like I need to also remind myself of being like I need to allow myself to have fun and like not just get so caught up in like work, you know. But I'm really liking what I'm heading into right now, which is I don't know where it'll actually end up being. Like obviously chapter wise it'll probably be in like the low teen chapters, but it is when Caleb takes TJ out for her early birthday celebrations and like sneaks her out into a bar. And I'm just so excited. I have been really looking forward to writing these scenes. This has been one of the early scenes that I kind of like saw in my head. So I just like can't wait to finally see it like come to fruition. I don't know. I'm liking at least where I have the characters right now. I feel like I've already had a lot of moments of like conversation and like getting to know each other and kind of like progression with them. And I feel like this night is only going to, or not like this night, like tonight, but like the next part that I'm writing is only going to like deepen that. So, okay, I have this at a bit of, oh my God, what is my part doing? I have this at a bit of a weird angle because I need to plug my phone in and have it to charge because it's literally at 5% right now. And I like never let it get this low, but I wanted to check in because it is Monday. Sorry, Dorian is also sitting here. He brought that little toy up in bed and was just like sitting there waiting for me to notice him with it. And now he's just playing with shit. He's not ready for bed yet. I just wanted to make an update really quick because it is Monday, March 18th. So I recently just got back from my friend's bachelorette trip. So I was out of town for a few days, so I wasn't getting any work done, which that was kind of stressful for me. But now that I'm back, it's actually been like a nice break and like I felt like really excited to sit down to write today. I did take today off of work still as well, and I just used today to kind of get like reset on everything else because I do also move next week and just kind of wanted to like get reset on life a little bit before I have to like get back into work mode. But I did do a lot of writing today. I actually wrote almost 4,000 words, which is awesome. I will say the one thing that I just feel like I'm second guessing myself a lot with this book, and I feel like because I'm already putting pressure on myself more so than I did with Take My Hand. I think with Take You Down, obviously it was my debut book and that came with its own set of challenges. Take My Hand, I really wrote for myself. I wrote the book that I wanted, and I put like literally zero expectations on that book whatsoever of like any outside influence because I just knew that I'm like, this book is like, it's for me. I didn't know how many people would read it. It's the second book in a series. Like Hayden's like a little quieter. It's not like it's Friends to Lovers. I just like didn't really have any expectations literally at all when I was writing that one. But this one is like my first standalone. It's a sports romance. I feel like it has a little bit more of like the catchy kind of like arrows on a graphic kind of thing. And I feel like I'm already letting myself get pressured by it, which is stupid. Like that I shouldn't even be thinking about that because I'm nowhere near like the level that people are really paying that much attention to like what I'm doing and what I'm writing. But I still just like, I'm almost feeling like I'm putting it on myself. Okay, so today is what is today? Wednesday, March 20th. So I'm done with work and I'm just sitting down to do some writing. I wrote a chapter, which I'm feeling good about. It was about like 1,300 words. So like that feels good. I might call it for the night, honestly, because I am very stressed out. I am moving now next Thursday and it just, there is a lot of stuff to do. One thing that I'm starting to second guess a little bit is if I'm including enough sports in here, because here's the thing, I feel like I've gone back, so like the last 10 chapters, like I haven't really had much of them at like practice or competitions, but also like the reality of the story is that does that get boring seeing them at practice over and over and over again? Especially because then they can't be together at practice, right? It's like, well, then if I show them at practice, then I can't be showing them together. But if I'm showing them together, then they can't really be like competing or like doing their sports. But also like, we gotta keep the story moving. Like I can't like just have a whole bunch of like just solo practice scenes at the beginning here when like I gotta keep the story moving, because then it's gonna be like, oh, this is too slow. And it's like, I don't know. So I'm feeling like right now I'm just going to keep rolling with it. And then I guess in like a reread, like in my first reread, and obviously my like alpha, beta readers, whatever, I'll have them read it. See if like that's something that they all like notice or complain about or something. Also, this sweater is such like a weird size. I was just taking my release day pictures for Take My Hand. So I wanted to wear red. Like I said, I feel like I'm more in my head about the story. I didn't second guess a single thing writing Take My Hand. And I just feel like I'm second guessing everything for this book, which is like not fun, which is why I almost just need to be like, fuck it and just write it. I don't know. I think too, it also could be that I'm just like very, very stressed out. When I was writing Take My Hand, I wasn't having to worry about like releasing another book while also moving and also being like out of town here and there, where I just have like a lot going on outside of writing this book specifically. I don't know. We'll see. I'm at like what, 33,000 words. Yikes. I literally propping my phone up on a stack of hats and some fuzzy socks because I'm currently packing, because it is Tuesday, March 26th, right? Tuesday? Yes, it is Tuesday. I move in 2 days, so I'm packing a lot. So yes, this is Starting Lines vlog. However, I wanted to just make a little clip here to include yesterday I released Take My Hand. By the time that I'm filming this, not when you're actually seeing this, but it's the second book in my Whisper Me Nothing series, in case if you hadn't read it and have just stumbled across this vlog. But it's the second book that I ever released, and it's one that I felt like I felt really proud of that book, and I'm still just like proud of it. And release day, it never fully felt like it hit it all. And like, I don't know if that's because I'm so consumed now with this book, or like it was just kind of a weird day and it was just off, and I don't know. At the end of the day, like the thing that I appreciated the most was like that my friends here that I have that live close by me, and friends that I've had for years and years, they all took me out to dinner and we all went out and we celebrated, and it was just like a nice night with all of them and a nice way to like round out that release day. I just feel like proud about that book, and I just hope that I can have that same sense of pride when I'm hitting publish on Starting Line. Also just hopefully like take it in. It feels like, I don't know, it's just, it still never feel like it fully like hit yesterday of like, holy shit, you wrote this book. It just kind of felt like I was like on to the next, and and it hit, the highest it got yesterday was number 69 in it hit number 69 in Rockstar Romance in Kindle Unlimited in like the Rockstar Romance category, and that's like wild to me. I'm just like proud of that, and I just hope that people, like that book, and I hope that people like this book. So I'm honestly going to be off writing for a few days. I'm getting really nervous about this deadline because I didn't write yesterday, because obviously like it was Starting Lines, or it was Take My Hands day, not Starting Lines day. Then today I have been packing and in the office. So tomorrow is my last day of work before I move. And so I have like work all day. I don't know. We will see. I am like pretty fucking nervous about this book, to be completely honest, and with this deadline. As I've said before, I work well with the deadlines. So we will see. I am taking a family vacation at the beginning of April that I'm taking my laptop on, and I will be working on that because we're just like hanging out by the pool. Like it's a very chill, relaxing vacation at a timeshare. So I am going to take my laptop with and try to write while I'm there because I need it. Do you want to come say hi? Are you going to walk to the camera? Yeah. All right. So it is Sunday. April 14th. And yikes, guys. I'm really going to be testing my theory that I have always been a good person under pressure because, so I just got back from vacation yesterday. I was in West Palm Beach with my family, and I took my laptop on vacation with me so I could get some work done while I was there because obviously I'm still really tight on deadline, and it was great. I was like taking it down to the pool area in the morning before everyone else got up. Sorry also if you can hear background noise, I have the windows open because it's actually like 70 degrees today. It's beautiful out. It was a complete accident, but my laptop did end up getting broken while I was there, and I had a mini meltdown, but it's okay. It was a complete accident, and it's fixed now, and it's fine. Long story short, I took it to the Apple store there. It shipped it off to wherever they could fix it. It was just the screen that was cracked. It got knocked off of a coffee table. The entire screen cracked and glitched and then turned black. But I had the Rangers game on it, and you could like still hear the game going on, so I knew that like my computer itself was working, but like the screen was black on it. So anyways, they just had to replace the screen, and they shipped it, and it was already here when I got home yesterday, so that's great. So I'm getting to work, but here's the thing now, because I was out of commission for like days working out there, I'm at 50,800 words. It's April 14th. I'm supposed to have my first draft done May 1st. So basically what I've done, I need to do all of that and more in 2 weeks. So I'm really gonna be testing myself here. Now here's the thing. My editor deadline is June 2nd. Like I have to have it into my editor on June 2nd. So I do have maybe a little bit more time. But here's the thing is that I'm sending it off to 4 people this time to read it again. So maybe 5. I'm actually thinking of asking one extra person. When I send it off to them, I want to give them like at least a week to read it and give me feedback. And then I need to probably like a week or so to incorporate that into, depending on what the feedback is, probably like 2 weeks. And then I need like one more round to kind of like proofread it a little bit or just kind of like polish it up before I give it to my editor. And that is literally going to be like to the deadline. If I get it done on time. If I don't, gonna have to shorten that anymore. I don't know. And you know what? I honestly shouldn't even be making this check-in. I just need to write. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm not even gonna get to enjoy it. I might go on a walk when I go eat lunch. It's 10 o'clock right now, so I might go on a walk when I eat lunch. I'm also sick too, so we're just like dealing with a lot right now, but it's okay. We're gonna get it done. I did get a little tan on vacation, so like that's fun. Anyways, I gotta get writing, but this is really going to test if I'm good under pressure or not. So it is Tuesday, April 16th. I do not feel good in the slightest, but we gotta push through and write because I don't get a day off right now. I do have to finish a sex scene, which I just don't feel like writing right now. But actually I have like pieces of it. I just have to kind of like stitch it together and add some more stuff to it. So I mean, at least that's almost done. And then I more just want to set up Caleb's swimming trials. So I think if I can get that done tonight, if I can finish this scene and get set up so then when I sit down to write tomorrow, Caleb's at the trials, that's what I'm going to roll with. It's not going to be as much as I wanted to get done tonight. I'm estimating I'm about like at the 65% mark of the book. We're getting there. Okay, one thing I just wanted to comment on here, because I don't know if I've like said this yet, but just as I'm writing this scene, it's like very prominent in my head right now, is that one thing that I will say, even though this has not been as easy flowing of a writing experience as Take My Hand was, and this one has definitely not been like that. However, I will say, even when I have been stuck, these two have always chatted well with each other. Like I have never really, except for the one conversation where they were like, where he was proposing the like friends with benefits things, which I think I've talked about in here already, that scene just in general for me was like not really like the easiest to write. And I'm sure that's one that I'm gonna have to like tweak quite a bit in editing, but they not run out of things to say to each other. Like honestly, I almost have to stop myself of being like, okay, this isn't them just like chatting. Like I need to kind of rein it in and be like, okay, I don't just need like meaningless conversation here. But I think I could write like easily 100 pages straight of just dialogue between these two. Like they are just easy talking to each other, and the part that's getting me more is like the internal monologue, or like more like the actions like in the scene. The dialogue has not been a single issue for me. These two just, they flow well together. They have a good banter together, and it's just fun to write it. And they're both like easy, like neither of them is super guarded, where like Scar was a little difficult. She was my heroine in Take You Down. She was a little difficult for me to write in the beginning because she's so guarded. So like even though I wanted to like have her interact more with Walker, I knew that like it didn't feel right for her. Hayden and Carter, like they flowed well, but they weren't as like quick-witted, I guess, with each other as these two are. And these two like definitely roast each other a little bit more. They tease each other a little bit more, and they're just fun. Like even as I'm writing this dialogue right now, it's like I just want to write the dialogue. Like I don't even want to write any like other little things in between. If this book was strictly dialogue, I would have been done like last month. Okay, I always cry at least once writing every book, and this is the first time that I've cried writing this one. It's Wednesday, April 17th, and I think it's in chapter 30 maybe. But Caleb's at his swim trials and calls TJ kind of for comfort, and I guess I don't really want to give anything away, but just this phone call with TJ is kind of the first time that he's opening up to her. He's kind of shut her down previously, so not only like seeing him open up to her, but also knowing that like in the time when he needed someone, he seeks her out. And also just what he's talking about is just like, it's hurting me to see him hurt. I think I'm about to call it a night, honestly. I have been writing a lot. Well, I say I've been writing a lot. What am I at? I'm at 66,992 words. So we still have so much more to go. We're only at the trials, but, you know, progress is progress. Okay, so wanted to include this here because I am very big on outlining my books. I love having an outline. I love sitting down every single day, knowing what kind of like comes next in the story and what I need to write. But also when I'm making the outline, I'm not like accounting for anything unexpected that comes up when I'm writing, or kind of like the flow of the story. And you only really realize that as you're actually going through. Let me do this so that way I can hold her, because also she wants to be held right now, and I always need to take advantage of when Aria wants to be held, because that is not often. So anyways, what I was saying is that just because I have an outline, that does not mean that everything that I have in that outline has to be included in the story as I'm going. So right now, I've already had a couple of like little things here and there. It's been more like conversation pieces that I thought would come up at like a certain point in the story that then didn't really make sense. So I'm like, I'll push it to later. But specifically, it's the trials right now. So I finished writing Caleb's trials, and at his, like, we actually see him racing like in his POV and stuff. And I was kind of expecting to again go through the competition format with TJ, but like, I just don't think it's necessary, because obviously at the Olympics, it's going to be a lot more in depth of like competition days, you know, like it's going to be a lot of time at the competitions, like probably at least a chapter or two of her competing, right? Just realize like, I don't think that I need another competition scene when we just had her at the US Championships chapters before, and then we've also had her at practice, and I'm like, I just don't really think the story needs like another competition scene. So actually I ended up changing the scene a little bit, and now I'm just doing like her waiting to find out if she made the team, and then when she finds out, and like kind of the aftermath of that. That's what I switched it around to. I'm feeling good about that. All of that to say is that if you are also writing, and if you have an outline, do not think that you have to include every single thing that you have in your outline just because you had it in there back before you even started writing the book, okay? Things are going to pop up that won't like fit right in the flow as you're thinking, and that's okay. Okay, I had to come in here and grab my phone charger because there could maybe be a tornado tonight. I just got like a weather app notification. Anyways, though, I wanted to do maybe my last check-in of the writing process. I'll probably like check in when I'm done writing quick, but I am almost done. Pause. It is Saturday, April 27th, I think, or is it the 28th? 27th or 28th, whatever. It's the Saturday, the last Saturday in April, a few days ahead of my deadline, and I have a Caleb's last chapter to finish, and I have the epilogue, which is from TJ's POV. So I have basically 2 chapters left to write in this book. I think in terms of writing, I think this book I would put like second easiest. Still say that Take My Hand was the easiest, breeziest writing experience I've ever had on a book. Like it just, we already know this, flowed very well. Take You Down was still my most challenging. That was my first book, so I'm still not surprised that that one still feels like it's the hardest. So I think this one's like middle of the ground, you know? It had its moments where it was feeling easy and breezy, and then it had its moments where I was like second guessing everything. So as far as that goes, writing process, you know, whatever. And I got it done. I got it done even with moving, releasing Take My Hand, going on vacation and my laptop breaking. Like I still got this book done. So I am extremely proud of myself. My ultimate like testing of how I do under pressure, I did the test with this one and I delivered on that. Sunday, April 28th, and I just realized that I never made a check-in, that I did in fact type the end earlier. I'm already showered, ready for bed, watching the Rangers playoff game tonight. But I did in fact finish 2 days ahead of my deadline. So pretty stoked about that. Already got it sent out to most of my alpha readers. I think there are only 2 of them that I'm just still waiting to figure out format to send it to them. I've taken like the afternoon and the night to just enjoy it. And then tomorrow reading starts. So I will be reading. I am planning on editing it similar to how I did with Take My Hand, where I did a big read through on Kindle, kind of got the overarching things, and then get into more nitty gritty as we go. So this first read through I will be reading on my Kindle, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun to like read back. It's kind of like a new experience for me. Here's hoping that it's just passable right now. I am currently reading back on Starting Line. What is today? April 30th, I think. Something that I'm actually having that I'm proud of this time on this book that I'm reading through is I feel like Caleb and TJ's dialogue, I felt confident writing in. They flowed really well writing. Like I think I had said that I could write easily like 100-page book of them just sitting on a couch having a conversation with each other. They just play off of each other very well. So I'm actually really liking that reading it back. And the other thing that this is kind of like random, but that I realized is that, so not that like I write books or that I write characters that all fit in like my type or that like, you know, I like have things in common with whatever. But there was something when I was writing Caleb that I was like, he's just not, you know, like I love him because he's like a child of mine now. But I'm like, he's not my type. Like I don't think he like does it for me like Walker or Hayden, my 2 previous heroes, do. Just because I think like genuinely Walker is like everything that I could ever want in a man. And Hayden is like everything I could ever dream of in a man because like, but I would be too intimidated to ever like talk with I love the 2 of them. Like genuinely, if you want to know what my type of men are, Hayden and Walker, plus like 40-year-old Adam Driver and Bradley Cooper. Like that's my scale, okay? I love just being like this hotshot, cocky, arrogant, like jock. That's not it for me. But yet I'm reading this back and I'm like, Caleb, he's surprising me. I'm having a lot of fun with his character back, actually. So I think when I was writing it, like TJ's kind of journey, I feel like is maybe a little bit more focused on in this book, but actually I don't think so. I think just like in my head when I was writing it, it seemed more like that, but actually reading it back, I feel like Caleb's got, like, I'm really enjoying Caleb a lot. Not that I wasn't when I was writing him, but I don't know. I think he's just surprised me a lot on the reread. On my read, I guess I can't even call it a reread. The thing that I'm feeling good about today was, so I added another alpha reader this time around. So I have Melissa from the novel Aquarian also reading for me. And she voice memoed me today when I was actually in the office and I listened to it because I was like, is this like good or bad, you know? And she just said like how much she loved it. And obviously like she hasn't given me like her full feedback yet, but it was just like her initial thoughts. And she was like, I flew through it. And like, and she's read both Take You Down and Take My Hand. And she was like, this is just like better than I ever could have expected that it was going to be. And I was like, holy shit, that just made me feel good. Cause I have been nervous about this one. And she's the first person that I've heard any feedback from yet. So I'm really happy about that. So, okay. So it is Sunday, May 12th, and I have all of my Starting Line edits pulled together here. So I had 5 people alpha read it. Today was my deadline to get feedback. I've gotten feedback from 4 of them, so I'm kind of going off of that, and then if the 5th person adds anything, I'll add it into the mix. But that's kind of like how I compiled it. I go through everyone's feedback, jot down it, kind of see what's consistent, see if anything stands out. Like maybe 3 of the people didn't catch it, but like 1 person did. Like, is that like a nitpicky, like, is that just like a personal preference thing, or is that a thing to kind of like include in here? And that's what I'm always having to remind myself when I'm going through other people's feedback, is not to immediately be defensive about it, because overwhelmingly on this book, the feedback has all been really good. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind. But I do have quite a bit here. And definitely, actually, I will say definitely not as much. It's a lot of like small things, just to like tweak. There's one chapter early on, chapter 5, there's like an interaction that I never really quite felt right, but I just kind of like needed to go with it for the sake of like keeping the story moving along. But that is something that everyone kind of picked up on and was like, it seems a little weird. And I was like, totally agree. I think I'm going to add at least in one more podcast transcript towards the end. So otherwise I have other things here, like smaller things that I can't really like talk about without like giving anything away. But you know, this is pretty good. This isn't as much as I thought. Take my hand and take you down. I had a lot more edits to do, so feeling good. So my deadline still is June 2nd. So I have, you know, what do I have? How many weeks is that? I have 1, 2, I have like 3 full weeks basically until I have to turn in my editor. So I have a really crazy week at work coming up. So I'm hoping to do all of the big edits over the course of like a week and a half, and then spend the last like week and a half going through and doing more of like the grammar, kind of catching that stuff, like the more nitpicky, like line editing type things. Like this is still, I feel like, developmental, like content type editing, and then do some line editing before it goes so on and so forth after that. I actually just got a comment on a video recently saying like, oh my gosh, I wish I had your natural hair. And it was in a video where my hair was straight. And I was like, oh, that is not my natural hair. This is my natural hair. Anyways, it is Friday, May, is it the 17th today? So I just finished doing all of my first big round of edits, which felt really good. And honestly, once again, there was not a ton. There was like some tweaking. I added in a new chapter, but it's literally like a page. It just kind of like does what it needs to do. So I'm going to take this weekend and enjoy it. I have a friend coming into town tonight, and then it's like so nice out, even though I'm in a sweatshirt, but that's because I'm cold now, because I was like cleaning this morning. So then I showered, and now I'm like cold in here, even though it's like 80 degrees outside, and it's gonna be really nice all weekend. So I'm gonna take the weekend and enjoy it, and then get into my second round. I'm still feeling really good about the story, and I just decided that I'm gonna bump up the release date by a week to July 22nd instead of the 29th. So that's fun. Well, I always talk about the good thing and the bad things, and I feel like this vlog has actually been a lot of good things, so let's include a bad thing. So today is Friday, June 7th. I woke up actually in the middle of the night to a not so fun message, and basically kept me up for part of the night. And then now I'm actually up and can kind of like look it over more in depth. And I've just been really excited to hear feedback, because I feel confident in it for once. I like never feel confident turning them over. All of my alpha readers commented on how they thought that I had grown, whatever. And I got a message that was basically the complete opposite of that. And I just kind of made me feel like absolute shit, and just kind of like, what are you doing? Once again, what are you doing? I don't know what to do. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do, quite frankly. But it's not a good feeling, especially then when I'm trying to write Take What You Want. And again, I'm feeling like, oh, I'm finally feeling like good again about some of this stuff. I honestly don't know what to do. Quite literally, Aria coming over here and seeking me out, even though she's gonna like jump down. She's the only thing tethering me right now, quite frankly. It is, I think it's the 11th. It's a Tuesday, June Tuesday. I think it's the 11th. Like I said, I don't actually know. I have never went from feeling so good about a book to like so shitty about a book than I have, I feel like, in the past like 5 days, quite frankly. And I haven't even started like the big like editing process. You know, I obviously did it with my alpha readers, did like developmental edits, but I haven't even started the other stuff. And I just already feel such like a turnaround. Oh, and I hate this. I hate being made to feel this way. And it is like by no means me trying to be like, I think that this book is like above reproach, or like that I think that this book is like that there's no like valid criticism on it. It's just more, I feel like, is there anything good? Is there anything that people are gonna like about it? I don't know. I just really don't. It's just been a really bad like week, honestly. Hi baby, thank you. Aria's like, Mama, don't cry. It just sucks sometimes, you know? I just feel like you were in a good spot with something and then maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm really not looking forward to, honestly, like just any more of this process with this book at this point. Like, just want to be done with it. I just want to be done with it at this point. And it's too early in the afternoon. I just wrapped up regular work, so I can't even have a drink yet. And it is only Tuesday, but God, would I fucking like one tonight. With these vlogs, like I said, gotta show the good and the bad parts of it, because there's a lot of good with writing, but Aria, there's a lot of good with writing. Like, I love it, but there's some really bad moments too. Okay, so this is not filmed actually too long after the last clip that I had in here. Still the same night, just hours later, because I realized I should update, because shortly after I got done making that clip, I got sent the first concept cover, and that at least kind of boosted my mood a little bit. Highs and lows, highs and lows. I don't feel comfortable like showing the first concept just because I don't know, like, this is the first time I've worked with this designer. Her name's Kate. She's Y'all That Graphic. And I just like, I don't want to like ever share early versions of covers that, like, you know, I haven't like agreed upon with the designers. So I will just kind of talk about it. I'm assuming the cover is going to be pretty similar in concept. The main things, so I really like the concept of how it blends gymnastics and swimming together. Discrete covers are kind of tricky for me because they're not usually my favorite. However, I feel like for this book, like, discrete is kind of the way to go. It's more universal. I would love nothing more than to have a hot naked swimmer man on the front of this cover, but I know that that is not the majority cup of tea, so maybe one day I'd do like a hardcover version of that. But I really like how she blended the elements. She did the textures that I wanted and everything. So I just had to send back a few things. One, the colors. Right now it's like purple and teal, and I kind of want to do something with like maybe the Olympic ring covers. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I didn't really like the purple on it. It honestly kind of gave me Walker and Scar vibes with the color concept. So changing colors. And then one of the fonts on it, I'm not sure if I'm sold on. And then the other thing is, as a full wrap, it looks like really cool with the balance beam, like across from front to back. But then when you just look at the front of the cover, you can't really like tell that it's a balance beam. So I just asked if we could maybe try to like put more of the balance beam on the front of the cover, make it smaller, whatever. At least feeling excited about it. Honestly, it like did put me at ease a little bit, mostly because Take You Down and Take My Hand, I had like pretty set images in my head of what I wanted the cover to look like. Even Take What You Want, I've already sent off like the stock photos and stuff to my cover designer for that series. And so I have a pretty like decent idea of what that'll look like. But this was like completely, I was kind of like, I don't really know what I want. And at least this is like a start, and I'm like, feel like it's already off to a good start. So today is, what is it, Wednesday, June 19th. This lighting is horrible, but this will be a really fast check-in because I got my full first round of edits back. So I've literally been dreading looking at this all day, quite frankly, and now it's time to. So when I turned it in, it was 109,000 words, and it's currently at 93,000 words, so that has made me very scared. I honestly just want this book to be done before I even like have started looking at this. Okay, so actually, okay, my makeup held up fairly well. Ew, also some of my nails are off. I did cry a little bit finishing up my edits. This story has honestly like made me emotional every single time I've read it, and I don't know, I just like, I truly love this story. So it is Monday, June 24th. So I just finished my round of all of the like line editing and like copy editing that we did. So now, which I'm ahead of my deadline once again, I have to turn it back into my editor tomorrow, and then we'll proofread, and that'll be the last time that I have to go through it. Honestly, the edits, I think I went into it very scared. And honestly, it ended up not being bad. I think I had to have my breakdown the other week, and then I kind of got myself back together. There are just certain things in this story that I'm just like so happy with, and I just love these two. So like I feel like with Take It Down and Take My Hand, I always had a certain point where I was like sick of reading the story, and who knows, I might be sick of it when I get it back for the next round for proofreading, because then that'll be, I don't even know, like the 4th or 5th time that I read it all the way through, not including like when I was writing it. I'm still not sick of it. Like I love it, and I'm very proud of this story, and that's just something that I'm trying to like remind myself of. So anyways, that's done. We are really down to the final days. My cover is completely done. I did the cover reveal today, so that's done. So the last thing I'll need to do is then just like let her know the final formatting once I know the dimensions, because I need to actually get it formatted, which needs to happen after it's done proofreading. So anyways, I'm just really getting close. Hello, what are you doing? Do you have good nap? She's been under her little blanket fort literally all day and all afternoon, and even like the beginning of this evening. I mean, we're really getting down to the wire here now of being done. I mean, we're less than a month out, so I'm gonna have ARC signups soon, so I need to like get that form filled out. Yeah, but we're really getting down to it, and I'm just really excited to have this book out. Okay, I better make this before I forget, quite frankly, but it is Sunday, June 30th. Got my proofreading back, so I am going through that, and then this should be the last time that I have to go through this story front to back. I am on page 75 so far. At least this is like good, because a lot of the proofreading stuff was caught in the earlier round, so now this is just like last minute things kind of. So I'm hoping that I should get this finished up today, because then I want to get it formatted, and I'm going to try to have pages, like page designs again. I could not get them to work for Take My Hand. I kept on exporting it, and it kept on saying on Amazon that it was like not the correct size. I do not know what was wrong with it, but it hated it for some reason. So I did design new like interiors for them. I mean, they're pretty basic. Like Caleb's has like water on it, and TJ's has like chalk on it. Whatever, it's not anything like super fancy, but I am really excited. So hopefully those work. But then I just have to format it, and then this book is like basically done. Now, then all I have to do is email my cover designer the exact dimensions, which I figure out once it's formatted and uploaded to Amazon. It tells me exactly the size that I need for the cover, which is awesome. So then there's that. And then I'm going to be posting about ARCs this coming week. So do ARC signups. But so I need to make the ARC form actually, probably today actually, because I was hoping to post about it tomorrow on Monday. So, okay, maybe I'll post about it on Tuesday. But anyways, we are like really closing in here on this book, and I'm just like so excited for it to be out. I'm genuinely so excited for it to be out. Okay, I think this might be like the second to last check-in that I probably make for this video, because it is currently Monday, July 8th, and I am currently waiting just for my file to finish being converted on Amazon, because I'm uploading. So I already uploaded because I formatted. I don't know when the last time that I checked in was, but I obviously got my final proof back, got that finished, and then got it formatted. I finally was able to figure out the page designs again. So I think actually when I have some free time, hello, that was like I swear she came out just to like give me that look of being like, you're annoying me, before going back. Anyways, so I finally figured out the page designs, which like I really love. So I'm really excited about that. Also, don't comment on my nails. So now I need to go back and fix Take My Hands, because I literally couldn't figure that out last time, and I was so under the deadline with a bunch of things at the time that I was like, fuck it, and just uploaded it without like the page designs, where now at least this time I have like headers on each of them that they look really cool. It's all formatted. Now it's uploaded. I got my final like measurements that I needed for my cover. I had sent those off to my cover designer, I think last week, and I just got that back. So I got it uploaded. So I think actually, fingers fucking crossed, there should not be a single issue with this cover this time. If you've watched any any of the other vlogs, there's always been something with the covers, and the paperbacks have always been delayed because of it, because of something with Amazon, the sizing, whatever. There's always been a reason. They've always been delayed like a day past release day. But I think this time actually we're gonna get them out on release day, which is really exciting. So I'm getting the ebook set up so that way it'll be enrolled in Kindle Unlimited. Then now I basically just sit and wait for it to come out. I mean, I don't sit and wait. I have to send ARCs tomorrow. I'm gonna send them out on Tuesday. I've had the sign up open for about a week now. I'm so sorry. Am I just really she's like, I'm leaving you. We're like really down to it here. So I think probably my last check-in will be when I get my proof. I submitted my request to get proofs. I submitted to get 3. So anyways, this actually I think ended up being my longest book page count wise, but it's my shortest book word count wise. Anyways, that's pretty much it. This process is pretty much done. So yeah, ARCs will go out soon. Some marketing obviously still do on it, but otherwise starting line has about reached its finish line, which yeah, that's wild. I'm holding in my hands the culmination of this vlog. Finally arrived. I literally like ran down to the mail. Well, I didn't because I don't run, but I speed walked down to the mail room. Oh my gosh. There she is. There she is. Oh, she's so pretty. The blue looks so pretty in person. Oh my gosh, and the pops of color on it. So the pops of color are the Olympic ring colors, which like, cause obviously can't have the actual Olympic rings on the book, but like I thought that was like a fun way to incorporate them. Oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. We have the chalk texture at the top with the beam for TJ, got the water droplets in the pool at the bottom for Caleb. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And let's check out my beautiful interior formatting. Caleb's got some water on his, and let's find a TJ chapter. Oh, that's another Caleb. There's a TJ chapter. She's got like chalk dust, you know. So I got 3 because I always keep one, and then normally I end up giving one to my mom, and then I just have like an extra on hand. I might give this to someone as well, but I have them and they're so beautiful. Oh, I didn't even say today is what? It's July 11th today, Thursday, July 11th. Less than 2 weeks out now from release. So ARC started going out earlier this week, and already I've gotten a few messages from people back who have already finished them. And I obviously know there's going to be people out there who don't like starting line, but to already have the few people that have messaged me tell me how much they enjoyed it and how much they connected with it and just how much fun they had with this book, just truly like I finally feel really, really excited about this book again and really, really excited about this release. I mean, you can probably tell in this vlog, but there's going to have been a lot that I've left out along the way, honestly, in terms of like the late stage process of this book that I just like felt so defeated and felt so down and like questioning myself and like is this even good? Am I even good? Is this like why should I even bother? Like, is there anything good about this book? And I just want to include here at the end that if you've made it all the way here, to just trust your gut. Trust your gut. You know your story best. You know your characters best. You also know what you are capable of, and surround yourself with people. Now, you don't want to surround yourself with yes people. You need people who will tell you when you need to fix something. Like my alpha and my betas, they tell me when I got stuff to fix. But you need people who will support you at the end of the day. And that is the most important thing that I want to leave you all with. Anyways, that is the end to this vlog, is having these in my hands. And this is so exciting. So, and I love this cover too. I really, really love the cover. Thank you to anyone who picks up Starting Line. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for giving it a chance. Thanks for giving an indie author a chance. I seriously appreciate it more than I'll ever be able to say. So anyways, that's it. That's a wrap on book 3, and I'll see you when I see ya.